cold out here. Sigma 16mm f1.4. What can I say, man? This lens is so badass. Let's talk about it. What is up? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, all of that kind of stuff. It was an awesome day yesterday. It's December 26th when I'm filming this, and so obviously yesterday was Christmas. We had a killer time, man. I've got 2 young kids, and we just lived it up, played hard all day, and then guess what I got to do last night? Work. That's all right though. So typically I wouldn't work on Christmas. This was a unique situation, but I had someone contact me and they had a relative that was flying into town to propose. It was a surprise. It was going to happen late at night, like 11, late for me being an old guy, like at 11. So it was real easy for me to just blow my day out, get my kids down, have them asleep, and then go you know, have some fun on the photography side of things. So I went ahead and I booked the deal, and it worked out great, man. It was beautiful. Really classy family, really cool guy that proposed, and it's just a cool moment. But it got me thinking. So this was the lens that I was shooting with most of the night, and this is the Sigma 16mm 1.4, and I realized how much I use this lens, and I just had to do a couple things. Number one, I am trying out the GoPro 7 Hero 7 Black to see how it works for a vlogging camera. So I am on a GoPro right now. I'm out here just kind of vlog style, having fun out at the park. But back to what we came here to talk about, the Sigma 16mm. So I want to cover a couple of things with this lens. First of all, it's always smart to just start off with the build quality. All right, and one thing, I'm switching gears here. So Canon came out with their EOS R full frame mirrorless camera. I don't give a shit about that camera. Don't want it, nothing about it. But it does have one thing, that when you remove the lens, it closes the shutter to protect your sensor. And that is just freaking brilliant. And I really wish that Olympus did that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So this is the 16mm 1.4 Sigma. Build quality on it is excellent. I'm gonna put it at 9.5. There's really nothing to complain about. Metal construction, super smooth manual focus ring here last night. For the proposal, I actually was there to video it first and then take pictures, and that's what I did. And I was in manual focus the whole time for video, and it's just a pleasure to work with. If there's one knock on it, it may be that it's just a little too loose. I'd like a little bit more tension, because I didn't have a problem with it, but I could easily see myself bumping this and changing focus inadvertently. So maybe that's one thing. But it is weather sealed. It's got a gasket on here, metal mount. Construction's top notch. It's just great. Does come with the center pinch lens cap, which I like. Comes with a pretty nice lens hood. Not strong enough to get it off. There we go. So here's the whole thing put together. Now, one of the things that I hear about this lens, if people are complaining, is the size of it, that it's just too big for micro four thirds. This was a APS-C designed lens, and then they just put a micro four thirds mount on it. And so it does make it a little bit bigger of a lens, but I will tell you that can be a good thing. So depending on what you're going to use this lens for, you may find it's a good thing, you might find it's a terrible thing. So let's talk about that. I'm a professional working photographer, and I cannot stand working with those little bitty primes like the 17mm 1.8. Awesome lens, and I would choose it over this for certain situations. But when I'm working, I need something that's got a little bit of size to it. This balances really well on my EM1 Mark II. It gives me something to hold on to. when I am using manual focus, I'm not using that tiny ring. You know, I've got a really good ring here to work with, easy to find, easy to use, easy to turn. So for me, this is the size that I actually prefer in a working lens. Now, if you came over to Micro Four Thirds for the compactness of the system, which a lot of you surely did, then this may not be the lens for you. If you're using this for travel, if you're using this maybe even for street photography, this wouldn't bother me using it for street. But you know, if you're someone that wants a small kit on their side, throw 3 primes, 4 primes, 2 primes, whatever into a bag and just go, then yeah, the Sigma is probably not the lens for you. I'd recommend probably the Olympus 17mm 1.8. Not my favorite lens, I'm not going to go into that, but it would serve you well. Very well built, compact, or probably more likely the Panasonic 20mm 1.7. I like it a little bit better, maybe not as fast focusing, but probably an insignificant issue. Sharp, super sharp, and it's more of a pancake design, so really easy to carry with you. But that's neither here nor there. I digress. So build quality, great, weather sealed, all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about the results of this lens. So I just said this is my go-to lens. Like, I've started shooting so many family shots with this, family shoots, weddings. This comes out before anything now, which is very, very weird for me, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the results of this lens is just incredible. It's got by the way, I meant to show you, I'm going to go back here. I meant to show you the difference. So this is the Olympus 12 to 40 2.8. So you can see the size difference here. They're in the ballpark. This is a little bit bigger. This is a little bit heavier. But you know, if you're using any of the Olympus Pro lenses, then you're not going to find the size of this weird or big or anything like that. I did want to put this on because I've just got my sensor sitting out there and it's windy, and well, that's pretty stupid. So there we go. All right, back at it. All right, so again, this is my go-to lens for so many things. It's the best storytelling lens I have. So when we talk about performance of the lens, I want to tell you how I judge and grade my lenses and what I'm going to buy and what I'm not going to buy. Okay, I use them in what I consider real-world situations, and I look at the flaws of the lens or the shortcomings of the lens and say, how will this affect my final product? When I turn over my final product to my clients, are the shortcomings of that lens affect my final product? How's it going to affect my final product? So in other words, when I deliver something to a client, would it have been better if I had used another lens? That's one criteria. And two, actually capturing the photo, would it have been easier using another lens that I use? So a lot of reviewers shoot charts and graphs and brick walls and all that kind of shit. Nothing wrong with that. There's a place for it. Those tests don't lie. But what I do find is they really don't translate to the real world. So I was looking at this lens, and I was looking at the Olympus 17mm f1.2 Pro lens. This lens was $440. The Pro lens was $1,100 on sale for, or $1,200 I think, on sale for $1,000. So 440 versus 1,000. That's a pretty significant difference. So when I looked at the differences, there was no improvement in my final product between those two lenses. So this is weather sealed. The Olympus Pro was weather sealed. I trust them about the same. Build quality, non-issue. I mean, you're not going to get better build quality than an Olympus Pro lens. They're built as good, if not better, than any other lens out there. But this is right up there with it. Maybe not quite as good, but it's, you know, for all practical purposes, it's just as good. When I looked at sharpness, there was no true difference. The Olympus Pro lens at 1.4 might be a little sharper, but again, it doesn't translate to real world. All right, so let's talk about performance. This lens is a stunner, man. What can I say? Super sharp. So I shoot this a lot at f1.4, and it is plenty sharp for things like portrait work. I do family shoots. I shoot a lot of it at f1.4. It's absolutely no problem whatsoever. Of course, it does get sharper when you stop down. By f4, this thing is razor sharp. So if you plan on using this for, say, landscapes, typically you're going to be shooting landscapes at you know, stop down apertures. It's sharp as hell. Absolutely no problem. I don't see much of a difference between it and even the Olympus Pro lenses. Color contrast, amazing. Bokeh, amazing. Everything about it is great. There's two areas where I could see maybe a little bit of improvement, or I would like to see a little bit of improvement. One, chromatic aberration. It's not bad, but it exists. Typically it's taking, you know, it's corrected either in camera. Typically it's corrected easily in Lightroom, so it's not an issue, but occasionally I have seen some fringing where I've had to go in and manually correct it. Of course, I don't like to do that. That adds to my editing time, but I can only think of one or two examples out of thousands of photographs that I've had to do that. So that's something you may want to watch. If you have the Sigma 30mm f1.4, it is not anywhere near as bad as the Sigma 30mm f1.4. I find the fringing on that lens to be pretty damn significant and frustrating at times. This, you're not going to have that issue, but it does exist. The second area that I'd like to see improved a little bit is the autofocus speed. So it's good, but it's not great. So what I mean by that is you're not going to have any issues, or at least I didn't. Again, even at critical times in low light, in a church, of a bride coming down an aisle, I fully trust this lens to get me those results. I don't have to worry about it. It locks on fast, but it doesn't lock on as fast as like the Olympus Pro Glass or even the Olympus 17mm 1.8. That is a fast focusing lens. If it affected my work, if I thought that I needed and had to have faster focus to get better results, I would not be using this. I would have gone with the Olympus 17 1.2. I used both of them and ended up choosing this lens just because I thought it was a better value. Oh, and also, let me know how shitty the audio is on this. Again, I was using the Hero 7 for this entire thing except for the photos section on it, just checking it out as a vlogging camera. It's pretty windy out here. So let me know. Obviously, I've got that guy and I can get an adapter and use this. And anyway, I'll probably just vlog with my EM1 too, but let me know how bad it is. Thanks. Peace. Bye.